Just because you have to get it out the mud doesn't mean your children should have to as well. What if I told you there were simple steps that you could take today to guarantee that your children become millionaires by the time they're adults? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to give you 5 different strategies that you can implement today to guarantee that your children become millionaires without them even having to know about it. And make sure you stick around for strategy number 4 because it's going to blow your mind. Now, I'm here to tell you this. Generational poverty might have ran in your family until it ran into you. And you're going to become a wealth creator after watching today's episode. Let's get into it. What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Tax-Free Living, where I teach entrepreneurs just like you how to live tax-free. Now, today we're going to be talking about accounts that you can set up to guarantee that your children become millionaires by the time they're adults. Now, why is this topic so important to me? So some of you all may know, but some of you all don't, that when I was a child, my mom died when I was by the age of 14, and my dad passed away by the time I was 16, right? So here I am, this 16-year-old boy with no parents and no direction. And both parents dying, all that me and my sister and my other brother was left after funeral costs, we were left $5,000 each to support ourselves into the foreseeable future. And when you're going through that type of heartache, the last thing you want is money stress. So I devoted my life and my time to teaching financial and tax topics that make sure that we know how to build generational wealth, because I know what it feels like to not have that after you lose your parents. So today I'm going to teach you all, even if you leave your kids early, if you leave your kids later in life, they're going to be millionaires and they don't have to worry about money. So account number 1 is called a custodial brokerage account. Okay. This account will let you invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, all different things on your kids' behalf. And here's the thing. Your kids don't have to invest any money in it. Your kids don't have to have income for you to invest in this account. And guess what? There's also no limits to how much you can contribute on their behalf every single year. So by setting up a custodial brokerage account, you'll be able to invest on your kids' behalf and help them build wealth without them having to lift a finger. Okay. And let's also not forget about the tax advantages that come with this, because in 2024, the first $1,100 that you give your kids is gift tax free. So that money is not taxed at all. And then the second, I think it's $1,100 is taxed at their rate. So you're taking money out of your tax bracket and into their tax bracket, right? So there are tax implications as well on you being able to do this. And what I love about this so much is that you can invest in individual stocks if you want, right? Which will increase the amount of growth that you can have with these accounts. Now, what we recommend you do is simply invest in index funds that track the total stock market. So that can be the VOO, that could be QQQ. These are, or it could be a target date retirement fund, right? These are funds that track the entire stock market so that you don't have to. And I did some math for you all just to show you the ramifications or the power of this type of account. If you invest $2,000 a year on your kids' behalf, which again keeps you underneath the kiddie tax rules. If you invest, it'd be $2,000 on their behalf from when they're born to when they're 18. By the time that they're at retirement, age of 60 or 65, they're gonna have over $7 million in investable assets that they can use to fund the rest of their lifestyle, right? And this is what we mean about like putting our kids in position to win, right? As I mentioned earlier, just because you got it out the mud doesn't mean your children should have to as well. What's up, family? If it's one thing that I know is true, is that you can survive without community, but you can't thrive without community. And in order to build true community, you have to get in the right room with the right people. And so we wanted to create that room especially for you. This is why we have Wealth Weekend. This is gonna be a weekend experience where you're gonna get amazing education, amazing experiences, and amazing entertainment all in one weekend so you can become that first generation millionaire in your family. Because one thing I stand on is generational curses ran in my family until they ran into me. So my question is, are you gonna be that curse breaker for your family? And if you want to, you need to join Wealth Weekend. So click the link below and we'll see you there. And let's get back to the episode. That's number one, custodial brokerage accounts. Number two is 529 college savings plans. Now, a 529 plan is what I call the MVP for educational investing, because a 529 plan is a tax advantage saving plan that you can utilize for your kids' future college tuition. And what's so amazing about 529 plans is that depending on what state you live in, you will get a tax deduction for the money that you contribute, right? So you can get a state tax deduction on the amount of money that you contribute. Not to mention, when the money grows inside of the 529 plan, guess what? It also grows tax-free. So you get a tax deduction for putting the money in, the money grows tax-free, and as long as you use the money for college-related expenses, you don't have to pay taxes on the growth from the account. Now, some of you all are saying like, well, okay, Carter, I would love to set this up, right? But what happens if my child decides they don't want to go to college? Well, that's the beauty of 529 plans. In 2024, the government released an update to 529 plans stating that if your child decides to not go to college, you can transfer the money that's in your 529 plan into a Roth IRA and allow the money to continue to grow tax and penalty free, and they can use that money for whatever they want to. Because with a Roth IRA, you're not limited to only using it for college expenses. So you get a tax deduction on the money on the way in, you get tax-free growth, and if you use it for college, you don't pay taxes. And if they don't go to college, you get to transfer the money into their Roth IRA, which will allow them to continue building tax-free wealth. The third account that you can set up to guarantee that your children become millionaires is something called a custodial Roth IRA. Now, custodial Roth IRAs are one of my favorite accounts because just like with a regular Roth IRA, when you put the money in, you don't get a tax deduction for putting the money in, but the money grows tax-free forever, okay? Forever. So with a custodial Roth IRA, it's very similar, but it allows you to contribute on the child's behalf. So you can contribute in 2024 up to $7,000 per year on the child's behalf into their Roth IRA, as long as the child has ordinary income. So the only limit the main limit with the custodial Roth IRA is that your child has to have ordinary income. If they don't have ordinary income, you cannot invest into this custodial Roth IRA for them, because for Roth IRAs, you have to have ordinary or earned income. So as long as your child makes $7,000, you can take your own $7,000, put it in their Roth IRA for them. And again, if we do $2,000 a year, we know how they're gonna have over $7,000 by the time they hit retirement age. If you do $7,000 a year, we talking tens of millions of dollars, because you were a responsible parent and set aside a few $1,000s a month to contribute to a custodial Roth IRA on your child's behalf. This is how we build generational wealth, and not to mention tax-free generational wealth for the ones we love the most. Number 4, we're going to talk about Coverdell education savings accounts. Coverdell, or ESAs, right? Educational savings accounts. These are similar to 529 plans in the fact that the money invested in these accounts needs to be used for school. The difference between the main difference between a 529 plan and an ESA is that ESAs only have a $2,000 per year max contribution. So the contribution for the ESA is a lot lower than the contribution amount for the 529 plan. But the beauty of an ESA is it doesn't have to be used for college expenses like the 529 plan has to. ESAs can be used for educational expenses from kindergarten to 12th grade, right? So you can combine the 529 plan with the ESA, so you can use the money, some of the money from the ESA to fund your kids K through 12, and then you save the money for the 529 plan to fund your kids' colleges, right? So I'm giving you all different accounts that you can set up, but you can also set them all up to absolutely guarantee that your kids have not just 1 million, but multiple millions of dollars by the time they become adults, right? So you can use one of these or you can use them all, right? It's up to you. Now, the last account that you need to set up if you want to ensure that your kids become millionaires by the time they're adults is you need to get life insurance, right? Now, I don't often talk about life insurance on this show because life insurance is not an investment. And I really want to be clear about that. But that doesn't mean, just because life insurance is not an investment, it doesn't mean it's not necessary, right? So what we recommend is that you get life insurance up to or superseding the amount of debt that you have as an adult, right? So if you have mortgage debt of $300,000, but you get $1 million life insurance policy, guess what? Your life insurance proceeds when you die, not only do the proceeds go to your beneficiaries, but the proceeds go to them tax-free. Life insurance proceeds are not tax deductible. So if you get $1 million policy, your kids will be able to pay off the debt from all of your homes or all of your investments, and they get to keep the remainder of the money. So not only are we passing down tax-free money to our children, we are also passing down debt-free assets. So whether you get a term life policy or you get a whole life policy, right? We all need to have life insurance so that we can pass money down to our children. Unfortunately, my parents combined only had about $25,000 of life insurance. So most of that money had to go to the funeral costs. So after the funeral costs, well, my mother didn't have life insurance. My dad had a $25,000 policy. His funeral was about $10,000. So me, my sister, and my brother were only given $5,000 each to survive off of. And again, y'all, just because we got it out the mud don't mean our children have to. And just because you may have not came from a good family, why don't you make sure that a good family comes from you? So these are the 5 accounts that you can set up today to guarantee that your children become millionaires by the time they're adults. And we also did another video specifically talking about trust, revocable trust, irrevocable trust. You can click that link to watch this next video, because after you set up these accounts, we want to make sure we're passing them down in a way that avoids probate court and avoids estate taxes. So make sure you watch that video so you can continue learning and you can continue earning. I'll see you next time. Peace out.